The Goosebumps novels are pretty legendary for bringing enjoyable, fictional horror to younger audiences over the past few decades. The series' signature style translates very nicely to the newest video game titled Terror in Little Creek, which I played through the Nintendo Switch version on Switch 2 for this review, so thank you Game Mill Entertainment for the review copy. You'll play as Sloane Spencer, a young teen living in a town of nightmares. There's some really solid voice acting here for not just Sloane, but the other characters as well. Graphically, the game looks pretty good and played really smooth, but do keep in mind I played this on Switch 2, which might see better performance over the OG Switch. The environments you'll explore are varied with detailed maps to help prevent you from feeling lost. The audio for each of these adds to the tense feeling as you explore, not knowing what type of danger might be lurking just around the corner. Over the course of the game, you'll solve mysteries in the form of brain-teasing puzzles, confront creepy monsters that come in quite a few different forms, and explore Little Creek in an attempt to unravel its mysteries. The various monsters can potentially jump scare you, and I really like that some interactions needed to be handled with stealth to avoid the bigger monsters as they relentlessly chase you in an attempt to grab you and zap the life from you, but then also some of the smaller monsters can quickly be dispatched with your slingshot and your assortment of pellets. Healing items and pellets are pretty plentiful, so I never felt like I was low on either, but you will definitely have a much higher stock of these items if you take your time exploring the city. The puzzles are surprisingly difficult, even with hints scattered about, which are tracked nicely in your notebook that can be accessed in the pause menu, along with your inventory and map. This featured a really enjoyable story and gameplay that played out like a lighter version of Resident Evil in many ways. I always go into licensed games with no expectations since their quality varies so greatly, but I'm always pleasantly surprised when one turns out to be very enjoyable. This has some tricky puzzles and mysteries that even for me took some solid effort to solve, but having the crystal ball there for hints means you can always get a gentle nudge in the right direction. Some of the puzzles, even with the hints, might be a tad too difficult for children, but for me personally, were very satisfying to solve. This is the part of the game that made me realize the target audience isn't actually kids, but adults with that soft spot for this part of their childhood. Terror in Little Creek features multiple endings to encourage replayability, and I think it's a great time and a game I can easily recommend, but I do think it might be a bit too difficult for younger children to enjoy without assistance.